Hi, Kenny. Thanks for being here with us today.
Thank you.
I know your company has already jumped straight into the bond market in 2021. What are you seeing that has created the new dynamics in the market that has made it appealing for you guys to come out?
Yeah, thank you, Morgan. First of all, Happy New Year. Last year, we have a very successful transactions. Thanks for the investor support, thanks for the bank support. We have investors of over 300 accounts and oversubscription of almost 10 times. I think the overall result is kind of unexpected to me. I understand the market liquidity is strong, but I think investors, to a certain extent, are still very demanding. They want to pick the good companies. They don't just look at return. And I still remember on that day, there were other competing supply to a certain extent. And our overall pricings and the overall subscriptions were very good. I think investors have been waiting for good investment return for a while. If you look at the overall new paper supply in December or November last year, there were not too many transactions. And in the first week of January, I think the investors have too much cash and they need to deploy. But after 1 week of transactions, I think that there's some kind of indigestations right now. So maybe it needs some time to correct. But at the same time, what I would like to point out is the ESG and the green related bond supply. I think more institutional investors are interested in this universe. So we decided to keep doing green bonds. And if we look at the order book that day, I think almost half of the accounts were related to ESG or green bonds related and make overall the transaction very successful. So I think in 2021, this year or next year, I still think the ESG related or green bond related products will be very supported by the market.
And does using a green label for your bonds create a price difference for you? Is there a benefit financially of using those?
Yes, first of all, ESG or green bonds are not a new topic to Zenro. If you look at all the Hong Kong listed companies, many of them are required to submit the ESG report on an annual basis, like Zenro, like other companies, the Chinese developer, we have to submit every year. And basically, all the ESG or the green bonds related topics have already been covered in the ESG report. I think if you also look at our residential projects or commercial property projects in China, we have to fulfill local requirements heavily. Many of them have now established a new funds for ESG specific products. And I think unfortunately, right now, there are not enough supply to meet the demand. So I think that it will be a good market. And if you look at the overall pricing strategies for my previous 3 transactions, which are all related to green bonds, I think the number of accounts definitely would be more than a normal US dollar bond. And if you look at the ticket size, under normal circumstances, I think when the market is stable, I think the ticket size is slightly bigger than our normal US dollar bonds issuance. And for pricings, we could also benefit from this kind of ESG related investment because we have more accounts and we have more order book, we have more ticket size from investors so that we could price at a more decent level.
Do you think green bonds are a natural fit for Chinese real estate real estate companies? It seems like we're seeing more of these high yield real estate companies come out with green bonds recently.
Yep. So first of all, I think the answer is yes and no. To a certain extent, for our case, I think we should be able to fulfill all the ESG related requirements because for Zenro, almost 90% of the projects assist in major tier 1 to tier 3 cities, which have very high green related requirements. But for some developers, they may not interested in these kind of cities. maybe they prefer doing more projects in the suburb area or tier 3 to tier 4 cities, which may not have high requirements of green topics. So that's mean they cannot enjoy this kind of green bond framework or the green bond issuances. And at the same time, I think some developers may not be still not yet have a ESG team, or they not have a specific team to look at their daily operations. But for Zenro, we have team monitoring our ESG framework for so many years. So I think that's why the question, the answers are yes and no. Some developers, I think they should be able to fulfill all the requirements, but some developers, I understand they may not able to fulfill all the requirements. But in short term or medium term, I think most of my peers will try to fulfill all the ESG requirement, because they could feel that the banks, investors, or rating agencies are looking into the details, and we have to, no matter what, we have to fulfill these kind of new requirements. It's
Are
just a
you
matter of time.
are you optimistic about 2021? It sounds like you're seeing good potential for your company and your compatriots this year.
I'm always optimistic. That's why you can always see my smiling faces. But it's definitely another challenging year again. If you look at last year, because of the COVID, if you look at the first half, we were cautiously optimistic. But look at the second half, when all the sales center were reopened, and when the overall COVID situation was manageable in China, we start picking up the momentum. But for 2021, I think we have a very good start. But I think we are not. I can't say we are very optimistic, because some business sector or some business will be doing good, but definitely some may not be performing very well. So I think we still need some time to observe. But luckily, we could feel that right now the central banks or the central governments may not want to implement more cooling measures. Right now, they just want us to behave. They will just want to do more market consolidations. So for my company, because it's already one of the top 20 developers, so we could enjoy this kind of market consolidations. We could do more M&As. We could enlarge our market share. But for some of the smaller business or the smaller companies, they may be squeezed out. So I think some companies or some business may not be doing that well in 2021. So I think there are always opportunities, but at the same time, we also have to consider the respective risk as well.
Excellent.